Step by step on business. That's on my mama, watch me spin on me and split, now I can't feel it. We in the trap, we sold the city on my biddy. Take these diamonds off and show you how we lit it.
Welcome back to another episode of Before the Horn podcast. As you know, I'm your host, Khalil. With me always, I got my guy, Daywan.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Episode 55. We here.
Yes, sir. Episode double nickel. Let's get to it. We got a lot of basketball to talk about. Man, do we have a lot. You know we got to kick it off with Around the Hardwood. Discuss a lot of big games that happened over this weekend that kind of went under the radar because of the men's and the women's tournament that we definitely got to get into as well. The Final Four is almost set. There's one more game to be played on the women's side with UConn and USC tipping off shortly here. LSU and Iowa just finished up. So we're going to dive deep into that. We're going to dive deep into the men's as well. And we're also going to talk about Daywan's favorite NBA player, Draymond Green, and everything that's going on with him. But without further ado, take it away, Daywan.
I don't know why I could like to start with me when it comes to Draymond. He knows the disdain I have for that trash-ass individual of a man he is. But like Khalil said, we got a big episode today, strictly basketball. Around the Hardwood, you know how we do this all the time. Talk about the top NBA games from the past couple of days. Let's kick it off with Thursday night's game. We saw the Atlanta Hawks take down the Boston Celtics yet again for the second time in a handful of days in overtime by a score of 123 to 122 off of DeJounte Murray's 44 points on 44 shots.
Just to dive deep into the game of like what I seen, like I don't know what's going on with this Boston Celtics team, and twice we've seen them blow leads to the Atlanta Hawks without Trae Young, which is kind of concerning. I think that's part of the reason why we can't fully commit to this team the way that we do other teams who are on a run like this, who are just dominating the field. And, you know, when we look at the stats a little deeper, points per game, their 3-point percentage, they're tops in the league and all that stuff. So, like, but it comes down to stuff like this. Like, and this game went into overtime, and they just could not get a stop. They could not stop DeJounte Murray, who went for 44. He shot 18 for 44, which is very, very inconsistent. But at the end of the day, he did win. He did hit the game-winning shot, you know, to ice the game. But when you look across the board, like for the Celtics team, I really don't know what it is. Like, I really just cannot tell you what it is. All their starters was at double figures. Jason Tatum led the way with 31 and 13 rebounds, which is a pretty solid game. The only thing I would knock is he's got shot 9 for 22. But, you know, we've seen games like that from him as well, from Porzingis as well, who shot 8 for 20, which is not too efficient as well. But it is very concerning, like, just to see them blow another lead to a Hawks team without their best player. What do you think the issue is at this point, Daywan?
I think it's like what we said. It's just consistency. And remember, we talked about the Boston Celtics many times before. Are they contenders or pretenders? And games like this, losing to the Atlanta Hawks twice in a couple of days off of inconsistent play by DeJounte Murray is completely concerning. Now, I'm going to talk about this. Why the hell is Porzingis shooting 7 threes? I know the game has changed, but he should not be shooting 7 threes. Maybe 5 at most. Tatum, he's too inconsistent. And then Jaylen Brown, you getting paid all that money, bro. I need more than 18 points, dog.
Only thing I would just throw in there, like, I think that's always been Porzingis' game, and that's why, you know, he's, you know, been on 3 different teams before Boston. Why?
Yeah.
The Wizards is an anomaly because they just wasn't good. But
they're
like
trash.
Him and Luka couldn't work together because he couldn't play the type of basketball that, you know, Luka needed out of a 7'3" big man. He wanted to be on a perimeter. I think this team fits him a little bit more of him being on a perimeter, especially when you have a Horford and stuff like that. You have a Tillman who could bang down low just a little bit more. But so that's my only thing about that.
I think Boston has to be more consistent and stop taking these teams so lightly. Like, you're in the final stretch of the season. You're the 1 seed pretty much locked up. But this is concerning, losing to the Hawks twice in a couple of days with the play that it's been going on. So, Boston, you got to get it together. All right, let's jump to Friday night. First game we can talk about is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They took down the Phoenix Suns 128 to 103, led by Josh Giddey's 23 points.
I'm not really going to dive too much into detail on, like, OKC side. I mean, Josh Giddey had him amazing game, 23, 9, and 7.
Great game.
Chet Holmgren chipped in with 20 and 6. You got Jalen Williams, who has 16. Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace. Like, a lot of guys just showed up. And they did this all without Shea.
Yep.
I really want to talk about the other opponent, and that's the Phoenix Suns, who kind of been struggling lately. They just lost to the Spurs a couple days before this.
Yeah.
Bro, you had KD that went for 26. He shot pretty efficient, 10 for 17. You got Bradley Beal, he just has not. It just never. It's not working. I'm sorry. Like I didn't like the trade when it happened early in the season. I don't like it now. I really don't like the fit. I didn't really think Bradley Beal was going to help this team push them over the limit. You know, Grayson Allen did not have one of his better shooting days, going 1 from 9 from the 3. But there's just so many questions with this Suns team. We're in your opinion, Daewon, do you think this Suns team could really contend come playoff time?
You know, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the Bradley Beal trade either. I just think he's rage chasing at this point, and I was like, he's not going to do it on the Phoenix Suns. Like, they have a stacked team, but they have not put it together since they went to the finals in 2021 when they lost against Milwaukee in 6. But this Suns team is another team inconsistent. Like, you're 41 and 31. I would not think the Phoenix Suns would have 31 losses. Again, anything can happen, but this is just not good. I wish I had more from D-Book in this game. And then Grayson Allen, you got to be better shooting. Again, we all have our slumps, but 1 for 9 and starting lineup, not going to help your team win. The bench needs to step up as well. We talked about their bench in the past. It needs to be better. And this is where we all said the Phoenix Suns were going to struggle at. It's their depth. The starting lineup has to put in a lot of points for them to win the games. And it just didn't happen this night. So, hey, good win by OKC without Shy. That's really impressive.
I mean, the biggest thing is when you talk about, you know, the depth on this team and, you know, getting bench play, you got Eric Gordon, who shot 2 for 10, 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. That's just not efficient enough. And Nasir Little led the team with 7 points off the bench, and he only played 8 minutes. So You're getting essentially nothing from guys who was playing extended minutes. Eric Gordon played 22 minutes, give you 6 points. Roser Neal plays 22 minutes, only gives you 5 points.
5.
Josh Ogie, 14 minutes, 5 points. Like, you really can't do nothing with that. Like, you're asking Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to be sensational. If they're not sensational, they cannot win. I'm not putting my trust in Bradley Beal. It's Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Bradley Beal. Like I said, when the trade happened, I just wasn't a fan of it. I didn't think much of it when the trade happened. I didn't think this team was now a contender like that. Bradley Beal was going to push him over. I always questioned how the fit was going to work. Especially you playing 3 guards. I mean, it's a new age NBA, but like you're playing 3 guards, none of them are point guards, in my opinion. Devin Booker can make a little bit, but he's not a true point. Bradley Beal is not a true point. Grayson Allen is definitely not a true point. So you don't really have a playmaker on this whole roster when I look at it. If you want to be honest, like the other guards that play is Eric Gordon. He's not a point. You got Isaiah Thomas, who you just signed from the G League. He's not playing real minutes. Yeah. I don't think he's not going to be a factor come playoff time. So you don't have a true point guard to settle it out. You're going to miss Chris Paul in playoff moments, and I get it. He wasn't always there because he was hurt. But still, like at least you had a true point guard. Even Cam Payne was a point guard. You know, they don't have that. And I think that's going to be a problem. And I feel like you're just going to ask for Devin Booker and KD to have to be Superman for them to win a series.
And it just happened last year. It happened last year. We seen it. They both dropped almost 80 or over combined 80. They still lost against Denver.
Bro, if they wasn't dropping 40, bro, they was losing. And that's just a lot to ask for, especially with KD when he's aging. Like, he's not young KD. I can't. No. Like, he's still one of the best players, don't get me wrong, but I can't ask him to give me 40 every single night. Devin Booker to also give me 40 every single night. Like, that's just way too much to ask for, and I think it's going to be an issue.
Let's move on to Sunday's games. We saw the Los Angeles Lakers trying to sneak into that play-in spot. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 116 to 104. Capped off by LeBron James' career night, 9 3-pointers with 40 points.
I'm not going to lie. LeBron did his thing. LeBron did his thing.
Say it again. 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 Dude, please say it again. Please say it again. Bro, please. Bro, please. I'm just saying. Can I hear that, please, one more time, bro? Okay. Let's make sure I'm not deaf. Hold on. Let me clean my ears out. Oh, they already clean. Say it again.
You heard me, bro.
Okay.
You heard me.
All right, we'll move on. We'll move forward.
You heard me. He ties his
Damn.
career high with 9 3-pointers. He shot efficient 9 for 10 from the three, 13 for 17 from the field altogether for a total of 40 points in a game that was closer than it needed to be. But LeBron James' answers was 17 points in the fourth quarter to put this game away. You had Anthony Davis chipping with a double-double, an efficient 9 for 12, 24 points and 14 rebounds. Roy Hachimura was also efficient, 8 for 12, 20 points and 10 rebounds. Austin Reeves didn't have his best shooting day from the perimeter. Neither did D'Angelo Russell, but all of them went in double figures. My biggest thing is, as well, when we talked about the Suns, this team as well, when you look at the bench, you got 2 points from the bench. That's it, 2 points. You had Spencer Dinwiddie, who played 21 minutes, gave you donut. You had Taurean Prince, gave you 15 minutes, gave you donut. You have Gabe Vincent, gave you 14 minutes and only gave you 2 points. And this is going to be a big issue come playoff time. It's going to be a big issue because I cannot expect LeBron, Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves and Roy Hachimura to be the only people scoring on the basketball court. They're going to need production from guys like Gabe Vincent, maybe a Cam Reddish to make a couple shots. I think he should probably get some more minutes. He kind of went from starting to pretty much in the doghouse, not really playing. Taurean Prince is not really a scorer. You want to mention Vanderbilt if he does come back. Like, he's not a scorer either. The guys that you're going to really look to score is Gabe Vincent and Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench. But that's going to be very concerning. On the other hand, like I said, this game was a lot closer than it needed to be. They let Cam Thomas get off, in that
30.
second half. Cam Thomas is like that. He one of the ones. Mikal Bridges didn't have a good game, 5 for 16, which is not efficient. Dennis Schroeder, 5 for 12. You just can't win too many games like that. Cam Johnson, 2 for 10 off the bench. So big win, big needed win for the Lakers. Virtuoso by LeBron. I'm gonna let Day1 sit here and dick ride. Let him be a fanboy. I'm gonna let you.
That hurt my feelings. I mean, because guess what? At the end of the day, the Lakers are still sitting at the 9th seed, and this goes back to what we talked about on the previous episode. Can Lakers actually play consistent down the stretch, and then play good in the play-in? This is a great game, but like Khalil said, this is much closer than it needed to be. And again, I'm happy for LeBron. Y'all know I'm one of the biggest LeBron fans in the world. I don't care what y'all say. I'm not gonna say how many jerseys I got. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about the poster.
I just want to throw this out for the viewers. He's the biggest LeBron fan, but if you look right over his shoulder, he has a Jordan post on his wall. But that's neither here nor there.
I admire the greats. All right, but LeBron is the greatest basketball player of all time. Don't at me.
Where's the LeBron poster? I don't see any LeBron.
It's right above my head.
Motivation, I don't see it behind you though. That's the issue. In your background, okay. I see Jordan. That's all. But we could carry on. I'm gonna let you keep going. I'm sorry. Let me give you your moment.
Thank you. Please, Khalil. I 100% agree with you. I need to see more from this Lakers bench. Again, I'm happy about LeBron James and what the start lineup did. This is how the Lakers lineup should be meshing. But you need more from that bench. And again, you have your off nights, but come playoff time, especially in that play-in, because the 4 teams that's in the play-in right now, they're going to give each other that work. Who knows if the Lakers are going to see the number 1 seed in the West right now? They don't want to see them. I'm telling you right now.
Well, here's my thing. I think Lakers kind of do want to see right now because OKC is sitting in first right now. I think favorable matchup in the first round would be OKC. The matchup you kind of want to avoid is Denver, in my personal opinion.
The 3rd seed,
They don't want to see them. So,
but the Pelicans probably going to see the Nuggets.
With the struggles the Suns have been having, do you think the Lakers make it to that 8th seed and give them a little cushion, a little wiggle room for a loss in the play-in tournament, or do you think they stay at 9 and have to win 2 to get in?
If the Suns keep playing bad, who knows how this could go? The Suns, Lakers are just 2 games behind the Suns. The Suns keep playing mediocre with no depth, like we just talked about. Lakers can get bumped up into that 8th seed. They got to get in. But back to what I was saying, I just need the Lakers lineup to keep meshing like this consistently, but you need more from the bench. But when your start lineup is dropping that much, it's still inexcusable for the bench to only have 2 points total, and that's by Gabe Vincent, who's been in the doghouse, not only Cam Reddish. So, good win by the Lakers, but the game was much closer than it needed to be. You let Cam Thomas go crazy. You're lucky Mikal Bridges didn't have a good game. You're lucky Schroeder didn't have a good game. You're lucky Claxton didn't have that good of a game. Lakers, you got to be better. It's not going to slide during playoff time. You got to play a weak Brooklyn team, but it's not going to happen next time. Sticking with Sunday's game, we saw a really, really tight, great game. as Shy and the OKC Thunder, they defeated the New York Knicks 113-112.
Here's my thing. And I think this is why this OKC Thunder team is a little bit more dangerous than people make them out to be.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at it, Shea only gave you 19 points, which
is a bad game.
Which wasn't very good. He shot 7 for 16, 1 for 4 for 3.
Yeah.
But you have players like Josh Giddey, who gives you 16, 12, and 13. Also, Jalen Williams in the starting lineup give you 33, 8, and 4. We can work with that. And guess what? When it come down to the big moments and the plays got to be made, that's when you could get a ball to Shea. And Shea did what he had to do. Big time players make big time shots.
That game
that's
winning
exactly
shot.
what he did when his team needed him. He was there to answer the call. And this is one of the reasons why, besides me being an OKC fan, that I am very high on them, and I think they can make a little run. I think they're young. I don't think they can go all the way, but they're gonna be a problem for a lot of teams just because of the fact of their youth. And these guys can play. They can ball. When you talk about Giddey, who could give you a triple-double any given night. Lou Dort, he didn't have his best game, but he can score. He can also defend. He can guard your best player. Jalen Williams, their second best scorer, in my personal opinion, very efficient, 14 for 18 last night. Chet Holmgren, who didn't have the best game, only 2 for 8, 5 points, 5 rebounds. I don't expect Chet to give you many more games like that. I know he's going to bump up those points and bump up those rebounds. So when you talk about this team is going to be a lot more dangerous. And then when we look at this Knicks squad, I like them, but I don't love them. I'm not loving them the way everybody else does. I just can't. I just can't. Come playoff time, I just can't. Don't get me wrong. The Nova boys are balling. Brunson, 30 points, 11 for 25 from the field. Josh Hart, 13 points. You got DiVincenzo, 15. McBride and Hartenstein. McBride had 19. Hartenstein had 17 from your score on the starting lineup. They're all doing this without Julius Randle right now, who is out, who should be back by playoff time. So we're going to see how that looks. But come playoff times, I feel like sometimes the matchups matter and stars matter. And besides Brunson, like, who else are you going to say, like, that's you're completely sold on? Please don't give me Randle, because Randle has gave you stinkers for the past few years in the playoffs. We know what he is come playoff time. So I don't want to hear it. And also, I didn't even mention OG Anunoby as well is out as well. But this team is still competitive. I think they're going to give teams the Knicks are going to be a tough out. Run. Yeah. I think they're going to be a tough out, but
second round exit
at best. I don't see a conference final in the future, in my personal opinion.
The Knicks lose their second straight heartbreaker in this. Well, prior to the game, they lost to the Spurs in overtime on Friday. Then they lose to the Thunder on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, which is a great game. But Shai just did what Shai do. I mean, big time players make big things happen in the big moments. I mean, hit that turnaround fadeaway game winner, and that was a good look. The Knicks, they defended it pretty well, but Shai was just being Shai. Knicks made some awful turnovers in the fourth quarter that honestly led to their demise. And Jalen Williams had a great game, like Khalil said, but I'm all with you, Khalil. I think Knicks are a really solid team. Really good team, but I told y'all last time, I see them as best a second round exit. I think they're going to be a tough outing, like Khalil said as well, but I don't see them doing nothing else. But the Thunder, just like Khalil said as well, I don't see Chet having this many more bad games, but it kind of makes you worry a little bit. But all these NBA games are so unpredictable, you never know what's going to happen. But this is just a great game. I really don't have no complaints about either team too much. They did the best they could do. But the Knicks made some crucial errors in that fourth quarter that led to their demise, in my opinion.
Just to go back real quick, when we did our pretenders and contenders list, I believe we both have both these teams as pretenders. But who do you think is more of a threat to get to the conference finals?
I would say the Thunder for sure. And it's not me sleeping on Knicks. Again, like you said, who else besides Jalen Brunson do they got? I'm not trusting Julius Randle. I mean, they have a solid start lineup, but I'm not in love with it too much. Like, it gets the job done, but I'm not in love with it. I would say the Thunder for sure. Like, again, like you mentioned, besides Shai, they have a great young team. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey, he contributes what he can, and Lou Dort on defense is good. And then their bench is really solid as well. I think they have one of the best benches, and they're one of the best young benches in this league. So I'm going to say the Thunder are definitely a threat to get to the conference finals over the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Based on matchups as well, I think a couple of these teams that, the Thunder could possibly see, they could be. I think they could be any given team in the West, in my personal opinion, besides the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are the odds-on favorites. Everything got to run through Denver. But when you look at the landscape, like if it comes down to, it all depends on where they fall as well. Do they get the number 1 seed? Do they get the 2 seed? That's going to be a big deal as well. Where's the seeding line up with the play-in tournament, looming and stuff like that? But I think, given all that, I think Thunder as well can make we got the best chance to make the conference finals over New York Knicks.
All right, last game we're going to cover for this segment. Luka Doncic dropped 47 on the Rockets' head as the Mavs defeated the Rockets 125-107. They snapped the Rockets' 11-game win streak. What you think about this game, bro?
This is 2 teams that's been hot. One team has been getting all the buzz and publicity, and now another team has taken that over. And I get it. I'm going to mention it. And Daywan's going to love to hear this. Dylan Brooks, he went 0 for 8, 0 for 7 from the 3. Just not one of his better games. Daywan being the hater that he is,
Dylan Brooks is doo-doo, man. What? Nobody not say Dylan Brooks is doo-doo. The reason why I don't like Dylan Brooks because how he came at LeBron last year in the playoffs. You don't do that to LeBron James.
He came at his king. Oh, my God. His feelings been hurt ever since. Just like when Draymond kicked LeBron in the nuts, he ain't been the same ever since. I get it, bro. I get it. But when you look at this game, like you mentioned, Luka put on a virtuoso. I mean, when Luka gets it going, it's nothing you can do. Kyrie also chipped in with 24. Luka had 47, 17 assists, 12 rebounds, won 30 shots, which, like I said, you really can't do nothing about. Luka is just one of them guys. Like, the game comes so easy and so natural for him. And then when you have 2 of the best scorers in the NBA, and I'm talking about 3-level scorers, from the basket, the mid-range, outside, every single level. They're second to none when you talk about Kyrie and Luka. You got to put them up there with the best when you talk about them. And then this game, I'm not going to lie, they didn't have a lot of help from outside besides Exum. He did chip in with 13. PJ Washington had 12. But, Tim Hardaway didn't have his best game. Derrick Jones Jr. didn't have a game that too good of a game, playing 21 minutes, only 2 points. But I think this team can be very scary. And when you look at the Rockets, like I mentioned, Dylan Brooks, he had him probably one of his worst game of the season. Jalen Green as well, only 12 points, which you cannot get from Jalen Green if you want to win any game. You did have Jabari Smith Jr. lead the team in scoring with 28, but with Nelson going in the lineup to take over if Jalen Green is struggling, that's the recipe you're going to get. And don't look now, but the Mavs is coming. They're on a run right now. They're sitting 5th in the Western Conference right now.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet because this is all I really got to say. Luka is, in my opinion, I think he's number 1 or number 2 for MVP. I'm going to say this again. It's out of him, Jokic, and Giannis. I think Luka has a firm lead. Hold on. I think he's out of them 3 for sure. I'm not saying those are my 3. Those are my top 3. I'm keeping it buck.
Those are my top 3. SGA?
Hold on. I would say Shai is fighting with the number 3 spot. I'm not discrediting nobody.
Okay.
I understand that. But Luka is a different breed, bro. I understand Shai, just like, hey, the Thunder head coach might win Coach of the Year, and Shai might win MVP. He has a chance to. But if it came down to it, I think it's out of Luka, Giannis, and Jokic. And I'm not being biased or nothing. Luka's that guy. He needs to be more than him and Kyrie showing up and stepping up in these games. Like, Luka dropped 47. He hit that ridiculous horse scoop shot. That was crazy. Y'all go check that out on YouTube if y'all can. But the Mavericks, like Khalil said, they're coming. And we talked about them before. Only thing is, I can see the Mavericks, as far as I see them go, is a conference finals. As far as I see them go, that's just their ceiling, in my opinion. Maybe they can go above and beyond that, but I don't see it happening. But great game by Dallas. And then for Rockets, they snapped an 11-game win streak. But again, Houston Rockets are also on the cusp of getting a play-in spot. If you are in those play-in spots, yeah, you might want to start looking behind you a little bit. Rockets are coming as well.
All right. Quick question. Clippers, Mavs, first round. Who you like more right now?
I like the Mavs more. I'm going to say this with some confidence, too, because about what we talked about last podcast, I believe, the Clippers are just too inconsistent. Like, I know they can get got. Like, only person I love on the Clippers is Kawhi. I don't love PG. I definitely don't love Westbrook or Harden. I've been washing my hands with those 2 guys for a while now. So, and I just don't like Tyronn Lue as a head coach. So, no. I'm going to say I don't care. No. So, no. I'm going to say the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, you be killing me sometimes, bro. But I'm
I
right
just
there
keep it
with
real.
you. I'm right there with you. I'm picking Dallas as well. And then if history has anything to do with the Luka for some reason, I don't know what the Clippers has ever did to him. I don't know if it was when Pat Beverly was there, or Paul George said something, the Morris twins when they was there. But every time Luka played the Clippers, I don't know, he just light their ass up. So we're gonna see it. That's the first round matchup that we get. That's the first round matchup I like, and I can't wait to see it.
Facts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for that topic for tonight. Around the Hardwood, we got to bring it to you guys every time. Give us your thoughts and opinions about the games that we talked about. How do you guys feel about the Boston Celtics losing to Atlanta Hawks twice in a couple days? How do you guys feel about the Dallas Mavericks and Luka dropping 47? How do you feel about LeBron James' 40-point night and them having a close wins against the Brooklyn Nets? How do you feel about the Oklahoma City Thunder? Do they have a firm grip on the West, and can they make it past conference finals? Leave that all in the comment section below. All right, moving to the next topic. Of course, Khalil thinks he's my favorite player. He keeps playing these freaking pranks on me. Keeps making these slick ass remarks and jokes about Draymond Green. This happened 5 days ago, but we are going to cover it. Draymond Green in the first
I'm gonna just sit back. I'm gonna let you go.
Draymond Green was ejected 4 minutes within the game after receiving 2 technical fouls in this game. My question to you guys is, what can the NBA do about Draymond Green? Like Khalil said, I got this, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back, get your popcorn ready, and kick your feet up because I am about to go in on Draymond Green. No Diddy. No Diddy. I don't like Draymond. Y'all know this already. I cannot stand Draymond. I don't care about him as a man or as an NBA player. He's dirty. He's unhinged. And we talked about him before when he got suspended the first time. So Draymond has committed too many heinous acts, in my opinion, to be forgiven. They suspended him 25 games. I said 35 to 40. He needs it. He needs to learn his lesson. And don't say, oh, day one, oh, that's too much for a player. What about his actions? They're horrible. They're heinous actions. And this man is in his mid-30s. He's been in multiple NBA finals. He won multiple awards in this league. He's a 4-time champion. And he's acting crazy. It's not passion for the game. It's just erratic, unhinged behavior. They need to put a stop to this. I mean, at least he's being accountable because he said he deserved to be ejected in this game. He held himself accountable, which I don't believe it. Because he also said after he came back from his suspension and receiving therapy that he learned his lesson. He's going to be better. But here he goes doing the same nonsense over and over again. It's just erratic. I just don't like it. I'm not here for it. If it was up to me, I'm saying Draymond can get kicked out of the league. And that's not me trying to take a man's bag away or take away what he's done in the league. He's just unhinged. Like, you need to suspend him for more than 25 games. It needs to be at least 40 or like more. I'm saying half the season or more. With all due respect, he's a repeated offender. This has to stop. It's over and over again. Many victims have fallen to Draymond's antics, and we're tired of seeing it. So, Adam Silver, if you listen to me, I will write you a letter. Just send me your address to get petition to get Draymond Green removed from the National Basketball Association. And I mean that from my sincerest heart. Kick him out of the league. He is not needed on the Warriors no more. They don't even need him. He's more of a liability than an asset to this Warriors team, in my opinion. And this Warriors team is struggling, in my opinion, mostly because of him. He needs to step up. I'm not saying he's a great scorer. He's never been a great scorer. He's been a great defender his whole career, and I'll give him that. I've been giving that praise. It's just his erratic behavior. It's repetitive, and we're tired of seeing it. Draymond, get out. Leave. Adios. Ciao. However you say goodbye in any different languages, say it to Draymond Green. Get him out of here.
All right, so before I go, I just got one more question for you. We all seen Steph's reaction to when he got kicked out the game. What do you think? What do you think Steph felt in that moment, and what do you think the Warriors should do moving forward?
Listen, we saw Steph when he got ejected. Steph was just in disbelief. Steph was like this, literally like hands at his hips, covering his face. He's like, bro, I need help. I'm literally carrying this Warriors team, and I'm past my mid-30s. Steph needs help. Steph is a great player, generational talent, changed the game for sure. We got erratic players like Draymond, who Steph has defended for over a decade. They won championships together. And Steph is just, I think he's just tired of seeing his behavior. I think Steph Curry is literally just tired of seeing his behavior. But guess what? Who's going to hold Draymond accountable? I mean, we don't know what goes on in their locker room, but Steve Kerr and his Warriors organization needs to light a fire under Draymond's ass. It needs to be more than just therapy, suspensions, and counselings. Disband him, kick him, like start taking his paychecks. Start taking portions of his paychecks. And again, I'm not all for messing up a man's bag, but when you're a detrimental liability to this team, and it's erratic, it's not just. It doesn't happen in spread out moments. It's erratic. I feel for Steph Curry, honestly. Which, like I said, the Warriors, which they should do, start docking his paychecks. I'm being for real. Start docking his paychecks or suspend him from multiple games. I'm being for real. He's already not an asset to the team. So how can it hurt?
Well, I would say Sunday night he was a big reason why they won against the Spurs. He did put up 21 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds on 8 for 9 shooting, which is a very
such an anomaly. Such an anomaly. Who cares though? Like that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. So stop. You're trying to move the goalpost. You're moving the goalpost. You're trying to lower the rim. And we're not doing that.
I'm not, bro. I'm just throwing out facts, bro. This is just what happened Sunday night against the Spurs, bro. But I'm not day one. Am I a Draymond fan? No.
Yes,
but do I hate Draymond as much as day one do? No, not even not even close.
Listen,
oh my god, I'm sorry. Day one rant was 101, man. He just 101. But to dive into the whole Draymond situation, he just seemed like he didn't want to play. Like he just seemed like he wanted a reason to get kicked out the game in Orlando against the Magic. Like he just, I don't know what that was all about. Steph was visibly frustrated, and I think rightfully so. Like this stuff has gone on way too long, and part of it is that the Warriors allowed it to go on for so long and just allowed it to spiral out of control. We've heard from Draymond on numerous occasions, I got to do better. I can't do this. I cost my team. Luckily, they won in Orlando, and they're fighting to make the play-in right now against a red-hot Rockets team who did just lose Sunday night. But the Rockets are right on their tail, and they need to tighten up, and they need all hands on deck to do it. Steph is not healthy right now. He's playing through an injury, but he's out there giving all he got. So they need everybody else to be out there, step up, and give them what they got as well. And that includes Draymond. Me personally, like, I don't know what this Warriors team do moving forward. I mean, when you got an shell of himself, Klay Thompson, and shell of himself, Draymond. Draymond can give you spurts here or there, but he's not, that good compared to like what he used to be, what he used to give you defensively and everything like that. You got Chris Paul coming off the bench. I said earlier in the season they should have traded him, but they never did. They kept him. He's on the team, so it is what it is. But I just don't know where this team goes from here. Even if they were to make the play-in tournament or whatever the case may be, I think it's time to blow it up. He's on the tail end of his career. He's 35, I believe. Like he's not getting no younger. It's either you're gonna, figure out a way to go all in and maximize Steph Curry while y'all still got him, or it's time to break it up. And I think this is the reason why the Warriors' former GM Bob Myers stepped down, because he didn't want to be the guy to break up that core group of Draymond, Steph, and Klay. But I think the well has run dry at this point. Besides Steph, like it's time to figure out where y'all going from here. Like even if y'all were to make the play-in, let alone the playoffs, like you got to really be focusing on next year. In my personal opinion. Honestly, I'll chalk this season up at this point. But there's rules against that. You can't just do that. There's fines, a bunch of other stuff that comes along with that kind of stuff.
They can do it undercover. They can do it undercover. Trust me, they can do some under the table stuff.
The NBA has been cracking down on it. That's been a big thing. Lately, if teams tanking and stuff like that, this would be considered tanking. So I can't suggest that, but they need to move on for Draymond's sake as well. Like Draymond, this is the only place he works. One, like I couldn't remember going into the offseason, but they just gave him a new contract because going into the offseason, there's questions of would he go somewhere else? And we had a discussion like, where else can we really see Draymond go? And like none of us had anything besides the Warriors. And the Warriors paid him, gave him some money to come back. And
kicked him out the league, G League.
Out the league. We're not going to listen to everything Daywan said, because Daywan had it his way. Dylan Brooks and a plethora of other guys would be out the league in the G League or in China somewhere. Shanghai Sharks.
You already know.
Shanghai Sharks. But that's a little extreme. But like I said, the Warriors have enabled it for too long. It's time to let it go.
Facts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, give us your thoughts and opinions about what the Warriors should do with Draymond Green after his antics continue. Should they spend him more, dock his paychecks? Also, how do you think Steph Curry feels after seeing Draymond constantly ejected and Steph Curry continuously having to carry his team? Leave that all in the comment section below. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to transition over into college basketball. March Madness is still continuing. We're going to briefly go over Sweet 16, but go more in depth about the Elite Eight. In a rematch of last year's national championship, we saw UConn blow out San Diego State. We saw Illinois narrowly defeat Iowa State, leading up to their Elite Eight matchup in the East region. UConn went on to defeat Illinois 77-52, moving on into the Final Four.
I mean, this is 4 games by double-digit points they have won. If you want to go last year, I think it's 9 straight they on now of double-digit point wins. But UConn is the number 1 overall seed for the reason for a reason. They playing like it. They came out and they did what they had to do. Donovan Clingan got him a big game, 22 and 10, 22 points, 10 rebounds, as well as Cam Spencer, who also chipped in with 11 and 12. But this team just completely dominated Illinois, in my personal opinion. And I picked Illinois to beat Iowa State. I thought they were a good enough team to beat Iowa State. But they just UConn defensively just not allowed anything for them. Like Illinois only shot 25% from the field, 26% from the 3, 6 for 23. Like you really can't get much going. They got out rebounded by 9. The assist ratio 21-7. Like it was just like a defensive game, and UConn just defensively just overwhelmed them, and that turned around to the offensive end for easy buckets. They shot 51% from the field. They did not shoot the 3 ball well, only 17%. They shot 3 for 17. So that is something that's a little concerning. But this is a team that moved the ball well. Like I said, on 31 makes, they had 21 assists. So this is a team that share the ball, and they're a problem for a lot of teams. When 52 of your points come from in the paint, they just dominated within the paint as well. And you know, they're moving on to their back-to-back Final Four now. So we're going to see what's happened there. But it was just a complete dominant win, number 1 overall seed in the tournament.
Great game by UConn. Their defense is just different. And we saw this defense last year, but we keep blowing out these teams by double digits and holding them to low scoring percentages. That's just phenomenal. I love what I'm seeing from this UConn team, and they definitely rightfully deserve to be back in the Final Four representing the East region. I think UConn's can actually make it back to the national championship. I actually have UConn beating Alabama. I'll say by double digits as well, too. It's going to be a great game, but I can see UConn doing it because your defense is just so different. All right, let's talk about the West region. We saw Alabama knock off North Carolina 89-87, and then we saw Clemson defeat Arizona. Leading into their Elite Eight matchup, we saw Alabama defeat Clemson 89-82 to head to the Final Four representing the Western region.
I'm going to say, I was happy to see North Carolina get knocked out. You know, I'm a Duke fan.
I bet you was.
We're going to talk about them in a little bit. Don't get me started. But I was happy to see North Carolina get knocked out by Alabama. Clemson kind of been a dog, upsetting a few teams to make it this far. And then we get a matchup of Alabama and Clemson. Is this the 2019 college football playoffs? Like,
I was about to say, sound like the college football playoffs to me.
What is going on? Like, you know what I mean?
And it was a great game.
It was a great game. It was an amazing game. Marcus Sears is a problem. He is a problem. He's been having a good tournament when you look at what he's been doing over this tournament run. 23, 18, 26, 30. That's what he's been doing within this tournament. He's the best player. He's come to play. You know, he's the engine that gets this team going. But I can't mention him without mentioning the guys around him. Nick Pringle had him a solid game, double, 16 and 11, which was really needed, you know, to dominate the paint as well as Ryan Griffin chipping in with 13, 8, and 4. Not to even mention Jyron Stevenson, who chipped in with 19 points off the bench. So, you know, a 7 for 11, which is very efficient. It helps when you get 19 points off the bench as well. They shot pretty good from the 3 as well, shooting 16 for 36. Free throws, neither team really shot too good of free throws. Clemson was 50%, which is horrid. To Alabama shooting 68%. And that was the biggest difference. Alabama, they won by 7 points. They made seven more free throws. Neither team can really shot from the free throw line that well. They both turned the ball over a good amount. Alabama turned it over 13 times. This is another thing they had to clean up. especially going up against this UConn team who is very, very good defensively. And if they turn the ball over like that and shoot as poor as they shot from the free throw line, we could see another UConn blowout as well. So they definitely have a couple things to tighten up come Final Four.
Now, when Alabama faced North Carolina, I was like, ooh, this game is too close to call. They got to watch out because Clemson was riding a hot wave. They defeated Arizona to reach their first Sweet 16. Then they go face Clemson again, and Clemson actually had it pretty close. They was trying to get it close, but give them 3-pointers by Bama. We just sucked the life out of Clemson. Pause again, no Diddy. Alabama's a really, really good team. They definitely have the work cut out for them against UConn going forward. So great win by Alabama. Happy for them. They're now in the Final Four representing the West, but they got tightened up a little bit. But overall, great win. All right, let's move on to the South region. In the Sweet 16, we saw Duke defeat Houston, the number 1 seed. Then we also saw North Carolina State defeat Marquette, leading up to the Elite Eight, where we saw NC State knock off their ACC rivals, the Duke Blue Devils, 76-64, led by DJ Burns. Come on, Duke fan, pick your head up, bro. It's all right.
Ah, man.
What's wrong, bro?
This one was tough.
Wait.
This one.
Oh, Duke lost. I thought Duke won. My bad.
Now you know we lost, okay? You know we did. You text me right after the game. Told you now it's not the time, okay?
I was on it. I was like, hey, down goes Duke, bro.
I was grieving last night, okay? You want to text me down goes Duke. Bro, you can save that, bro. You can save all that. I don't want to hear that. But I'm going to start with NC State first. They've been on an incredible run since the ACC tournament. DJ Burns is just, my God, man. Like, what are you going to do with him? He's just a mountain of a man. Pause.
He's a defensive tackle playing center.
He's a defensive tackle playing basketball. He shot 29 for he scored 29 points, shooting 13 for 19, which is very efficient. And it's kind of like one of those pick your poison things because they got shooters surrounding him. DJ Horn was a problem as well, scoring 20 points. Them two led the charge, especially in the second half, because Duke looked like they had the lead in the first half, but in the second half was just pitiful basketball. And before I get into the whole nooks and cranny of Duke, I just want to give a shout out to my guy, Jared McCain, freshman.
The only one that showed
up and played. Duke scored 64 points. McCain had 32 of them.
So yeah,
he's developed a lot within college. I don't care what anybody say about him with the painted nails and the TikToks and all that other stuff. I don't care, bro. He can hoop. You getting 30 put on you by the dude that points his nails and make TikToks at the end of the game. So I don't care about it. But my guy's a bucket. But to dive into the rest of this team, one, Tyrese Proctor. Where the hell have you been, bro? Like, you've been freaking terrible on offense. The only thing I will say is defensively is the only reason why you've been on the court. Because defensively, you have showed up. But 0 for 9? 0 for 9, playing 31 minutes, 0 points. You gave us donut. What the hell am I going to do with that, bro? Like, man, even in the Houston game, you didn't play that good. But when it came time to show up defensively, you did what you had to do defensively. So we gave you some slack for the Houston game. But this was horrible, bro. Kyle Flippanowski, I get it, bro. DJ Burns is a lot to deal with. But 3 for 12, we got to be better. You were supposed to be our best player. You only gave us 11 points shooting 3 for 12. Like, we can't handle that.
Just about to say that.
Ryan Young gave us some quality minutes, but Ryan Young is not the best. He's not. He's big. Like, he's not an NBA type of player, anything like that. Jeremy Roach, hats off to you for a great career. You didn't have your best game shooting 5 for 13, but you did make some timely shots when needed to be made. But I'm really, really disappointed in Tyrese Proctor, somebody who was supposed to be a lottery pick just a year ago, and Kyle Flippanowski, who's supposed to be one of the top picks coming out of this year's draft, who just did not have his best game, man. This one was very, very frustrating to watch, especially in the second half when you needed stops and you needed baskets and you could not find neither one of those things.
If you're a Duke fan, you got to be just as angry as Khalil is. I'm not going to lie. Like, yeah, I'll troll Khalil when it comes to Duke Blue Devils, and I troll Khalil about the Saints, but Duke really was horrible in the second half. And we get DJ Burns. He's a specimen. I mean, again, he's a defensive tackle playing the center position in basketball. He's crazy. But Kyle Filipowski, you're an All-American. I need more than what you did for that. 3 for 12 shooting, that's horrible. And McCain was the only one that showed up, like Khalil said. Jared McCain, freshman, he went crazy. For Proctor, you've been bad this whole tournament, dog. You definitely need to stay another year.
Come
You're a
back.
sophomore. Stay and keep developing because 0 points. You've been doing bad this whole tournament. Have
I
not seen
will
anything.
say, I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah, you're good.
But look out next year. Look out next year.
Duke fans been saying that for the past
6'10"
handful of
coming in.
years.
But
Y'all been saying that for the past handful of years. I'm not hearing it no more for Duke fans, bro. Like, this is just bad. I'm just keeping it a buck, bro. I'm keeping it a stack. I had y'all making it, representing this region, and y'all lost. But it's okay. It happens. All I'm going to say is, Duke, next year, y'all got to bounce back. Y'all have to make it at least to the Final Four next year. I had y'all representing the South in the Final Four. It came to an end. Great year, but when the big players needed to show up, they didn't show up, and that's what happened. NC State capitalized on it. All right, last region we're going to talk about, the Midwest. We saw the Purdue Boilermakers defeat Gonzaga by 12 points, and then we saw Creighton get knocked down by Tennessee, leading up to their Elite Eight matchup where the Purdue Boilermakers knocked off the Tennessee Volunteers 72-66, led by Zach Edey.
I'm not gonna lie, this is a very, very good game coming down to the end.
It was.
This is a very
It really,
close
really
game.
was.
I'm gonna start with Tennessee. Dalton Netch, however you say his last name, Dalton Netch. Big time player. That boy can hoop. SEC Player of the Year, 37 points. That boy can hoop. All you needed was some help. I mean, you did not have another player within double figures. You had my Jersey guy, or he claims he's from New York, Zakai Ziegler, who had 9 points. That was your next closest scorer to his 37, and it just wasn't enough. He missed a couple timely threes that could have kept him in the game late, which kind of separated him. But man, Zach Edey,
he a different read. He different.
He's 7'4", and the biggest knock on him, especially last year and the past years, that he was soft. He heard all the criticism. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna go out here and show you I'm not soft." 40 and 16, 13 for 21 for the field. Very, very efficient. He's a problem, bro. He's a beast. There's nothing. You can't teach 7'4". I'm sorry, you just really can't teach 7'4". So like that's going to be big. We're not going to get into it today, but I can't wait to see him versus DJ Burns in the Final Four, man. That's going to be a good one. We'll talk about that one on the next podcast.
Tennessee need more players than Dalton Netch to step up, and that's where definitely Purdue capitalized. Zach Edey, like Khalil said, he's just a different breed. And Purdue, they have a solid supporting cast to help Edey out, but Tennessee, they needed more than Dalton Netch to step up. That's pretty much all I got to say about this game. It's a great game by Purdue. We'll talk about the big man Final Four matchup we finna see this upcoming week, but we'll give you all our thoughts about all that on Thursday. But let's jump into the women's bracket. The women's bracket has also been really, really solid. In Region 1, that went down to Albany, we saw South Carolina defeat Indiana, and then we saw Oregon State defeat Notre Dame. Leading up to the Elite Eight matchup, South Carolina defeated Oregon State 70-58 in Region 1. Great game by South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina is definitely one of the best college women basketball teams in the nation, and they definitely showed it. They've been putting on this whole tournament. I mean, they're undefeated for a reason. Let's be real. But Papayo, she definitely had a great game. South Carolina, they shot really well from all over the court. They're a great coach team. Start lineup, I mean, they have a solid start lineup, in my opinion. Oregon State, I mean, they had some solid numbers, and they had the Hansford contribute 12 off the bench. But Moreau, the starting guard, you're playing 13 minutes for a reason. I need more than a donut. At the end of the day, I'm not really surprised about South Carolina's win. So good win.
It wasn't one of South Carolina's best performances overall. They did what they had to do late to get the dub. But I think the biggest thing with the South Carolina team is that, and if you paid attention to women's to the South Carolina's team throughout the whole year, they're 36-0 for a reason. And part of the reason why is that if one player does not have it going, another player is always there to step up. In this game, it was Tessa Johnson. She chipped in with 15 points. It wasn't efficient. She shot 4 for 11, but she did lead all scorers with 15. Camila Cardoza, she's 6'7". She's going to do her things. She had 12 and 9. But, overall, like, it wasn't the best showing for them. On the other end, Reagan Bears did give them some problems. She shot 16 for 8. She did give them some fits within the paint. As well did Timia Gardner. She chipped in with 10 points and 12 rebounds as well. But I think the biggest thing is that the rebounding edge was plus 14 for South Carolina. I think that was the biggest difference between these two teams that did not shoot the ball pretty well at all. One team shot 36%, the other team shot 33%. The biggest difference was South Carolina shot the ball 23 more times than Oregon State, and that's the biggest difference. And the reason why they were able to win this game is just their rebounding was just so much better, and their second chance opportunities that they created for themselves gave them opportunities to score, just to put more points on the board for two teams that were struggling to score the basketball at any efficient rate.
All right, in the Region 4 Elite 8 matchup, we saw NC State defeat Texas, led by Isaiah James, 7 3-pointers with crooked or apparently incorrect 3-point lines. This game was crazy. I don't know. Like,
Only
I guess
NCAA women's, bro. Only the NCAA women.
Honestly, like, come on, y'all gotta do better. Whoever creating the course and everything, but
gotta do better.
Gotta do better. But this is a great game all around by NC State. The whole start lineup did good. I mean, Hayes, you played 31 minutes. I need more than 2 points. But this is just a great game all around. I mean, both NC States are in the Final Four. This is fantastic. Honestly, it just came down to who wanted more at the end. NC State had a great first half. Second half was solid, but it did enough to beat Texas. Again, great game by Isaiah James. Baldwin, the center. River Baldwin, she had a great game as well. She's been playing really good this whole tournament as well. But I'm just really proud of the NC State team, and I can't wait to see what they do in the Final Four matchup against South Carolina.
When you look at it, Isaiah James had her a big game, 27 points. Not shot 9 for 16, 7 for 9 for 3. That was very, very big. As well did River Baldwin, chipped in with 16 as well to help lead NC State. NC State men's and women's have been on a run. They're both in the Final Four. They have both clinched a Final Four matchup, so they will be playing this weekend in the Final Four. Let's see if they can win a national championship. But it was just a good all around game when you had 5 of your 7 players playing score in the double figures. You know, it was a team effort led by Isaiah James with the 27 points. But you know, on the other end, you know, for the number 1 seed, the Texas team, it just wasn't their best day shooting. They're not really that good of a 3-point shooting team to begin with. They shot 1 for 6, only attempted 6 3-point shots. A lot of shots came from interior, where they only shot 20. They shot 29 for 73 altogether, 70, close to 40%, which is okay, but not good enough to beat this team, especially when you out rebound them by 14. That just goes to show that, you know, this NC State team was just a lot more efficient, shooting 45% from the field, 50% from the 3, which is very, very good for a team, 9 for 18, and made timely baskets when they needed it to be made. So hats off to NC State men's and women's for clinching a spot in the Final Four. Let's see how that goes.
Let's jump over to Regional 2 in Albany. In the Sweet 16 round, we saw Iowa defeat Colorado, and we saw LSU defeat UCLA. Leading up to the Elite 8 matchup, where we saw earlier, the Iowa Hawkeyes get their revenge from last year's national championship as they defeated the LSU Tigers 94-87. Foul trouble. Foul trouble. Flaw J. Johnson was in early foul trouble. Ainge Reese, like I told Khalil, we was texting during the game, she had 2 fouls at halftime. I said she had to slow down her fouls. She ended up getting fouled out. Ainge Reese had a bad second half. You know, great players have bad games. It happens all the time. But Iowa, they just couldn't do nothing about Caitlin Clark. She dropped 41, 9 3-pointers. Iowa had a great supporting cast. LSU had a great supporting cast as well. Ainge Reese had 17, but again, had that bad second half. Marl had 14. Williams had 18. Flaugier had 23. But Haley Van Lith, you're back in the start lineup. You only dropped 9 points. I honestly see Haley Van Lith. She transferred from Louisville last year. I see her transferring again.
She was the number 1 player in the portal as well.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think she meshes well with this LSU team. And it sucks to say that, but she just doesn't look like she belongs in the system. I'm saying it because their play style and the way they play basketball over there, it just doesn't look like it fits Haley Van Lith. But for Iowa, great game for eventually y'all lost last year. Great game also by Kate Martin. She dropped 21 to 8. Caitlin Clark's 41. I'm happy for Iowa. They got their revenge from last year. They knocked off the LSU Tigers. They head into the Final Four.
Before I jump into, I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very disappointed. But before I jump into the reasons why I'm disappointed, let me get my flowers first. Caitlin Clark.
You one of them.
Like what can we say? Like she's a walking bucket, bro. she's a walking bucket, bro. Like, come on, like we all know she's all-time leader scorer, all-time 3-point leader, all-time leader in 3-pointers in a tournament, all-time scorer in the tournament, all-time assist leader in the tournament. Like she does it all. Like when you look at 41, 12, and 7, 9 3-pointers, 13 for 29
more do you want?
Field, bro. She gave Haley Van Lith the business, bro. This is my problem, bro. I seen it early. Haley cannot do nothing with her. She could not guard her. She could not check that woman at all. But for some reason, Kim Mulkey wanted to stay with Van Lith on her. There was a moment where they did shove in last tier Poe, and she gave better effort than Haley Van Lith. But why is Flaw J. Johnson your best perimeter defender not guarding Clayton Clark, especially in the second half? I get it in the first half. It's a close game. You go into the halftime tied, 45-45. It is what it is. It's a whole new ball game. Let's make the adjustments. Biggest adjustment. Let's put somebody a little bit bigger on Caitlin Clark. A little bit more physical. No, you keep Haley on her. First play out of halftime. 3-pointer. Cook. Like, from there, it was just all she wrote. Asia Reese didn't have the best second half as well. She did not play too efficiently. She did finish the game with 17 and 20 as she fouled out with like a minute and a half left. So I'm not really too much worried about that. Another thing that I just had the issue with is why not utilize Flaw J. Johnson a little bit more? Let the game run through her. Let Andrew Reese and her play a nice two-man game with Michaela Williams as well, who had a big game, who hit some big threes when they needed them the most. Michaela Williams chipped in with 18. But Flaw J. Johnson, they could not check Flaw J as well. Like, she finished the game with 23, 10 for 18. She didn't shoot good from the three. She was 1 for 6. So she definitely has to be work better at that. But when it came to driving the basketball and being physical, she was getting whatever she wanted. Late in that ball game, when you need buckets, especially against this Iowa team who is rolling right now, Caitlin Clark can't seem to make a wrong decision, whether they're shooting or passing in the second half. You need Tommy baskets. But for some reason, Kim Mulkey kept going back to Haley Van Lith. No. Just no. Like, you can see it in the game from the beginning. She's getting
She didn't look like she didn't. Yeah, she looked comfortable.
Cooked barbecue.
She looked like
chicken.
she cannot hold her bucket. She cannot hold her water.
Her fingers, bro. Like, it was bad, bro. It was honestly just a bad look, bro. Like, this game was very winnable for LSU, and I 100%. I went for LSU. I thought LSU was going to beat Iowa again, and they had every opportunity to be in this game and beat them. But I think some bad coaching, some small coaching errors was not letting the offense run through Angel Reese and Flaw J. Johnson. Not just Angel Reese. I get it. You got to get Angel Reese some touches, of course. But let Flaw J initiate the offense as well, because she was scoring the basketball at a good clip.
She really was. She had a good game. It's just foul trouble.
Anissa Morrow had her a solid game as well with 14 and 14. She didn't shoot the best efficiently, but she did have a 14-14 double-double. But Kim Mulkey, this one's on you, man. I'm not gonna lie, this one's on you. And I seen the frustration in your face when Haley Van Lith kept turning the ball over, but at a certain point, you gotta pull her and say, and just be like, this one's not you today.
I mean,
like,
she's been benched before. Haley Van Lith has been benched before, but we saw at moments when Flaw J was on Caitlin Clark, she gave him better effort. And we saw at moments as well, they put other people on Caitlin Clark. But every time it was Haley Van Lith on Caitlin Clark,
she's just too small.
Caitlin Clark was like this. Caitlin Clark was like this.
Too small, bro. Come here. Just cooking, bro. Got whatever she wanted, whether it was
whatever she wanted,
scoring the basketball or assisting the basketball. She did both. She got whatever she wanted. But hats off to Iowa to moving on to Final Four. We don't know yet if this is it for Angel Reese, but if this is it for Angel Reese, hats off to a hell of a career. You are a national champion at the end of the day, and nobody can take that away from you. And keep shining and keep doing your thing, as well as Flaw J.
Same. She's a sophomore. I think she probably going to declare next year after her junior year, but
she's a problem. Flaw J's a problem too.
And then for the Regional 3 bracket, for the Sweet 16, we saw USC defeat Baylor, and then we saw UConn defeat Duke, setting up their Elite 8 matchup right now. The game is tied at halftime, 33-33 with USC and UConn. We can't really give our thoughts and opinions about that game, but we will talk about it on the next podcast. Hopefully, we bring up the Final Four. But again, look for those Final Four predictions and everything for men's and women's on the next episode of Before the Horn podcast. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions about the Sweet 16 round and the Elite 8 rounds. We got to think about those rounds. Were they great games? Do you wish you could have seen more from certain players or certain teams? I want to hear all that in the comment section below. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode double nickel 5-5 of Before the Horn podcast. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for whatever platform you guys are watching or listening to us on. We appreciate the continuous support. We love you guys to interact with us. Keep interacting with us on these videos and on our social media. We love it. You give us stuff to talk about. Also, make sure you guys check out our Patreon. Link is in the description for that. For as little as $2 a month, you guys can help us out. Again, we're just regular individuals who love bringing sports content and sports talk to you guys. You guys can help us out definitely for as little as $2 a month. We appreciate any donation you guys can give to us. But the podcast is the way to go. You can interact with us, you guys give us podcast topics. You guys give us podcast topics to talk about. You can ask us questions. But you guys also can ask us questions on our Instagrams and our other social media platforms. But podcast is definitely where it's at. So again, for as little as $2 a month, y'all can help us out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Before the Horn Podcast, TikTok and Twitter at Before the Horn Pod. Man, I'm excited for what the rest of this season has to offer, and as well as what we got coming up in the next season for y'all. We're going to be rolling out a lot of new stuff. I appreciate the love and support we've been getting so far. Make sure you keep showing love. Make sure you keep commenting, share, subscribing. Make sure you get this out to your people. And like we mentioned before, we love to have guests on. We love that people who want to talk, they talk. So definitely, if you want to come give your opinion, make sure you hit us up in the DMs. Or both of our Instagrams are on the screen, as well as our page Instagram, which is Before the Horn Podcast. But till next time, peace.
Like Khalil said, like, comment, share, subscribe. Appreciate the continued support. Thank you all for tuning in to episode 55 of Before the Horn Podcast. We shall see you guys on the next episode. Peace.